If classic 2D Super Mario gameplay and Mushroom Kingdom nostalgia are your cups of tea, then do I have the ROM hack for you. Super Mario Bros. 3-Mix. It's an oldie, it's a goodie. This 2014 Southbird creation has seen updates as recently as 2021, and it's a hoot. Basically, what we have here is a love letter to all things Mario, something that is apparent right from the get-go. World 1, Stage 1 recreates the first two areas in the original masterpiece into one seamless environment. Over the course of the game, you'll come across dozens of familiar layouts and themes from the entirety of the franchise. Pick from Mario, Luigi, or that disgusting parasite Toad and explore these regions. We've got an entire world based around Mario 2. No, not that Mario 2. The North American Mario 2, which... Hey, are you sitting down? Let's not spread this information too far. It could get you jailed or worse. I heard from my uncle who works at Nintendo that this isn't actually the real Mario 2. No, not at all. Did you know that Super Mario Bros. 2 was actually a game actually called Mario 2 in Japan, and that it was actually very different to the one we North Americans received over here? Is your mind blown? Well, okay, get this. The Mario 2 we Mario 2'd over here was actually a game called Doki Doki Panic based on a show in Japan refaced with Mario characters. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool, now known as Peach, were all switched out. Amazing. The real Mario 2 was a trickier Super Mario Bros. Game based off the original Super Mario Bros. Mario. Holy cow. This is important to mention. How original am I? Breaking the box wide open. I bet you didn't know this. Keep it under your hat though. If word got out, who knows what the big N is capable of. Mario 2. What's interesting here in 3-Mix is how Southbird handled these Mario 2 homages. As everyone knows, the gameplay was very different in that entry due to the fact that it wasn't initially intended to be a Mario game at all. Mario 2 was actually supposed to not be a Mario game. Punishingly difficult, the authentic one was. So challenging that another property entitled Doki Doki Panic was reworked to be a sequel to the original NES Mario Bros. Actually, it was a sequel to Super Mario Bros., as Mario Bros. Was an arcade port on the 8-bit device, starring two middle-aged Italian men from Brooklyn who enjoyed pizza because, well, you know.
Wow, pizza.
Breaking everything down to assembly enabled Southbird to get away with a lot of unique stuff. It isn't perfect, but I applaud the effort. Grabbing stuff doesn't feel as good as it does in Mario 2 because this is a different engine, but it's cool how the Shy Guys can be ridden. Take that out of context and you've got a terrific softcore script. Yoshi's all sorts of skittery and the gravity gimmickry going on in the Galaxy-inspired stages is far from perfect, but these are all admirable efforts. Perhaps the most impressive addition to this retooling of the 8-bit classic are the ghost houses. Admittedly, I've never really enjoyed these joints. 2D mazes are just not my bag, no matter how you slice it, but it would be impossible for me to talk about this ROM hack without appreciating the visual flourishes and creativity going on here. There are quite a few of them peppered throughout the 8 worlds, with most having multiple exits. It's remarkable how clever some of these puzzles are. Unfortunately, the 8-bit Nintendo can't always handle the stress of the environments. These goblin circles slow the game down a lot. I got hit almost every time one of these were in an area due to how they pop into existence rather suddenly. Shiver scare, spooky startle, indeed. Overall, I'd say that classic official Mario momentum is off a smidge, but the enormous amount of slowdown throughout the entire adventure in reliably specific spots certainly doesn't help. There's a rhythm to the real entries in the series that allows for speedy, reactionary run-throughs of the relatively brief stages. Mostly, I'm referring to the 8-bit titles, or maybe the side-scrollers. I stopped playing them when new got tacked on each and every release. Either way, the levels in the NES and Famicom games were brief, densely packed with cleverly placed enemies and hazards. Holding run was the feel-good way to play. Here in 3-Mix, the areas drag on a bit. Some obstacles are tough to reflexively dodge on first playthrough, and I'd argue that there are far too many mazes, but hey, that's me. Super Mario Land 2, that's how I describe these areas. I'm not a big fan of that Game Boy sequel's pace, but the bosses are impressive. This feels like that. There are a few stretches of nothingness or dark areas. Again, when this thing is firing on all cylinders, it's a terrific trek down memory lane, but sometimes it just doesn't nail that Super Mario feel. Nowhere does this stand out more to me than a few sequences in the 6th world. These sunshine-inspired tropical stages are mostly pretty good until they incorporate the island's natives. It's just clunky clunky how they toss your character up in the air. Everything else about these environments is great. The colorful backgrounds and buildings, dingy waters, so many baddies from across the series make appearances right up until the final set of levels, and the boss battles are legitimately impressive. I know I keep coming back to that, so let's just deal with it now. Birdo returns, as does Wart, and my personal favorite cool dude with shades, Mouser. All the boss battles are clever, most with little gimmicks and patterns to suss out. A lot of time was clearly spent conceptualizing these fights to ensure that they were all different. Some perform better than others due to hardware limitations, but it's always clear what needs to be done to fell these big bads. The variety is noteworthy, even if a bit of clunky controls occasionally gets in the way. Every screen contains something familiar, suits from across the series, pieces of music, characters. It's nice to see the Wii games get some love, as well as the land titles from the Game Boy. Hell, an entire world combines the Egyptian theme of that spaced-out original handheld entry with the digging mechanics of Mario 2. A pair of my favorites in one area. What's not to love? Some Super Mario World stuff makes its way into this thing. Impressively, it's possible to climb these walls as any of our main characters, and whoop, a little flipsy doodle. I don't know how they managed to make it work with this engine, but they did. Pretty damn well, too. These Dino fellas return from that first 16-bit quest, but yikes, and Yoshi. Most of the time, the rideable little punching bag operates well enough, but it's a little finicky, a little weird at times. The galaxy-inspired 7th region is the real star, pun intended in more ways than one, as there is a Star Road-style shortcut screen that can be pulled up at any time on the map. Smooth. Flip-flopping around with some unique baddies and bosses. It's great. This really shouldn't work as well as it does. Sure, we've had gravity tomfoolery on the NES before with Metal Storm and Mega Man 5, but those were mostly based in tight, controlled spaces. Here, we've got outer spaces. Luigi's Mansion even gets some love here. I'm playing with that putrid pustule toad instead of the wobbly-legged green guy whose legs aren't so wobbly anymore. Check these dudes out. Ripped straight from that Doomsday episode of The Outer Limits. Ugh, you know what else is scary? Dracula. Do you see him? But did you know he had a son by the name of Alucard? Alucard is actually Dracula spelled backwards, and while we're discussing super secret video game facts, we may as well address the elephant in the room. The birdo in the manhole, as they say. Mario 2 in North America isn't actually a Mario game at all. Tell me if you've heard this one, but it's actually an actually Alucard. Doki Doki Panic Insanity. From what I can tell, Southbird handled most of the stuff going on here, including the soundtrack. I'll show the credits after the end card. Now, I dig what they were trying to do with the music. A lot of familiar themes and stings play throughout. Some are catchy, but others rub me the wrong way. This quick loop of the iconic Super Mario Bros. Theme on the first world map drives me all sorts of crazy, and sometimes a few notes of an existing piece have been shuffled around, resulting in a bizarre cacophony of sounds. Maybe I'm not hearing things right. It's also possible that I'm playing an expired version, as this thing has had many rewrites. Overall, it may seem like I'm down on this thing. I'm not. Clearly, I decided to exhibit this older ROM hack. I think it's impressive, but a 2D Mario platformer is a tricky thing to master. 3Mix isn't perfect, but it's certainly better than most, maybe even the best when it comes to fan projects restricted by this hardware. 3 star coins are hidden in each stage, some easier to find than others. There are quite a few secrets that I won't spoil, but let's just say participants who enjoy exploring will definitely be rewarded. Also, comets. Saving is now possible at any time, which is such a monumental improvement over the checkpoint system. 1-ups aren't dumped on you constantly the way they are in official modern Mario games, but the challenge level is nowhere near as ridiculous as a lot of fan titles or ROM hacks. This was created as a companion piece to the 8-bit trilogy, or tetralogy if you prefer. We're not here to prove our platforming prowess through gauntlets of gaming torture. This is a nicely crafted experience for casual players and pros alike. Holding the action button now acts as a turbo button of sorts while donning the tanuki or rabbit suit, so there's no need to frantically tap. These spinny things are still the worst. There's There's also a wide variety of charmingly inventive bonus games, from the original arcade Mario Brothers to the 3D titles and everything in between. This thing will have you rolling around in a gleeful pile of nostalgia pie. There's a reason it's considered one of the best ROM hacks to have ever been created, and it's still good after all these years. If you hadn't heard of it, now you have. Check it out. Next time on this channel, more Mario? Sure, it's what the people want, right, Nintendo? So stay tuned.